This is the Joe Gaither Show on BamaCentral.com.
Good morning, Tuscaloosa, Internet World, West Alabama. How are we doing today on this Friday? It is July 4th. Hope you and yours are having a great holiday weekend. Hope you go see some fireworks tonight, eat a hot dog or 10, and have a great holiday weekend with you and the family. We are live in the Derek Daniel State Farm Studios. Well, we're not live there today, but we are sponsored by Derek Daniel. We want to thank him as he puts up with us each and every day in his office. You can call him at 205-758-3391 for all of your insurance needs. Like a good neighbor, Derek Daniel is there. We appreciate him putting up with us and sponsoring the program. Call Derek right now. Call Derek on Monday. I'm sure that they are taking a holiday weekend. Call Derek on Monday for all of your insurance needs. We're here with Mason Woods, and we're going to hit just a few small topics before we get into the meat of the program. Yesterday, we talked to Jett Thomalla, Alabama quarterback commit, gave us 25 minutes of his time, and I really, really appreciate you, Jett, for doing that. We want to play that interview to close the show, but we want to hit a few fun little topics to get it started. With all that, follow Mason Woods at MAWoods_ on the Twitter machine. We're going to hit on a couple of recruits that Alabama is probably going to get committed today. Around 4 or 5 o'clock is the estimated time for Nolan Wilson and Mitchell Smith. So we'll talk about those two guys. We will talk about the hot dog eating contest at 11 a.m. because that is what I am looking forward to the most today. Excuse me. Sorry, the recruits are on the back burner. It's all about Joey Chestnut. We'll talk about those two things, and then we will get into this Jett Thomalla interview. Mason Woods, with all that, good morning, sir. How are we doing?
Oh, I'm doing good this morning. Excited to get into the show, excited to talk about some of this stuff, excited to, have a good day. I'm looking forward to Alabama continuing to grow this, what is already an impressive recruiting class at this point.
All right, Mason. So, we'll hit the recruits in just a minute, but today is the return of Joey Chestnut. He was not allowed to compete last year because of his sponsorship with Impossible Hot Dogs or something.
Something like that.
Hot dogs. They didn't like it. So Patrick Bertoletti won the event last year at 58 hot dogs. And so I ask you to start this thing off. Does his title even count?
No. It's a fraud title. You got to go against the best. You got to beat the best to be the best. He did not beat the best. Joey Chestnut's the best. He was stripped of his right to compete by some corporate red tape. It was ridiculous. I am very excited to see him reclaim his throne this year.
Yeah, how many has he won? He has won.
Good Lord, he's got if we're talking just purely success in the sport that you compete in, if you want to call competitive eating a sport, he is one of the greatest athletes in the history of America. One of the most dominant. He is up there with Tiger Woods, Tom Brady, with all of them.
16 times is what the internet tells me. 16-time champion. His record is 76 hot dogs in 10 minutes. And so I think 2 years ago he ended up with 68 or so. He's slowed down just a hair off of that record pace. Yes, I think I had it the other. Holds 55 hot dogs. Let's see, in 2024, 23 he won the 62 in July of 2023, and so all that gluttony. I looked up his food records. Mason, are you a Crystal's hamburger guy? Have you ever had a Crystal hamburger?
Oh, yeah. I feel like I could eat a dangerous amount of them if you really asked me to.
Could you
Probably not anything close to what you're about to tell me, but
103 in 8 minutes?
No, I don't believe I could do that. No, I don't think that I could handle that. Wow.
The man is crazy. So
I don't think there's another 16-time champion in anything. Find me one.
John Cena's a 17-time world champion.
Sure, there we go. That's the one.
in scripted sports and sports entertainment. So Joey Chestnut returns today, and I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be at 11 a.m. Mason Woods. We've got our grill in the backyard ready to go for some hot dogs. How many, if I was putting you to the test, 10 minutes, they're not all doctored up. It's just the hot dog and bun. You can dunk them in water. I did a hot dog eating contest at a church once in 5 minutes, and I think I did like 8, 9 in 5 minutes. And I was trying to go for it. I was. But in 10 minutes, what do you think the Mason Woods capacity is?
I think we're probably falling in that 20 to 30 range.
Oh, I like
think I
that.
could do it. I think I could do it. I feel confident that I could get about 2 a minute at least.
That's
between
great.
2 and 3 a minute.
I was going to put myself around the 16 mark or just shy of 20 for myself.
It depends too. Like, are we, are these like stadium hot dogs that have been sitting wrapped up in aluminum foil for a few minutes now? So they're just like incredibly soft and basically nothing. Because you give me a few of those, it's like 1 or 2 bites and it's gone.
That's true. He's getting them delivered on a plate. I'm not sure how Nathan's is preparing them. If they're boiling them, if they are grilling them. They're not grilling them.
If they're those Nathan's dogs like they have it like Costco or something, you're cooked. Those things are huge. I have no way I'm getting through more than a couple of those.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that my number would probably be a safe 15 in 10 minutes.
Yeah, I'd probably hit a wall somewhere in that 10 minutes and slow down from my pace, but I'm gonna go a little confident.
Well, we hope that everybody has a great time watching the hot dog eating contest. You can chime in on the comment section how many you might eat. But this show is not all about hot dogs. It's about Alabama football, Alabama sports, basketball. You see Mark Sears signed his 2-way contract with the Milwaukee Bucks yesterday?
I did see that. I have to imagine it at least somewhat had a little bit to do with the waiving of Dame. I mean, I don't think that it's going to be a 1-for-1 there, but I'm sure there was, you can connect the dots.
Yeah, and so he's going to get going. Summer League gets started next week. July 10 starts the first Milwaukee Bucks game. They got their first 3 games are on NBA TV, and then their last game is on ESPN2. So we got a little schedule out there for the Bama Central roll call crew. Mason, let's get into what actually might happen for the Alabama fan base today. Nolan Wilson, Nolan Wilson and Mitchell Smith are both scheduled to make their announcements today, committing to whatever school that they're going after. Nolan Wilson is Alabama, Ole Miss, Auburn, Florida. So he's got a lot of good little offers that he's considering, but I think that he's going to be choosing the Crimson Tide, 4-star defensive lineman out of Picayune, Mississippi, 6'4", 250. And then his counterpart is Mitchell Smith, also from Picayune, Mississippi, listed 6'6", 320 or so, 3-star recruit. He's got Alabama, Vanderbilt, Ole Miss, Florida State, Arkansas, just several other schools going after his services as well. What do you think here? You've been watching the recruiting machine. Is Alabama going to go 2 for 2 today and celebrate with some big fireworks tonight?
That is certainly the way it seems. I think both these guys are really high on the Crimson Tide. They're both expected to commit this afternoon, I think around 4 or 5 o'clock, like you said. And I expect good things. I think both of these guys are coming to Alabama. Mitchell Smith, I think, is another guy who kind of falls in this camp of maybe a little bit underrated in this class, but the staff has determined, given their evaluation, that he is worthy of bringing in here. And, I'm sitting here watching his highlights and certainly looks better than a 3-star if you had asked me as well. 6'6", 320 pounds, like you said, a very, very dominant guy in the run game, very, very dominant in the pass game. I think Alabama might get him one here if he does indeed commit to the Crimson Tide. And then Nolan Wilson, not necessarily an underrated guy. He's a 4-star prospect, but just as talented. I think he's a ferocious pass rusher. I'm looking again at his highlights, and he is just bowling over offensive linemen and getting after the quarterback before the play can even develop in a lot of these. So very, very excited about what these two guys can bring.
Well, if you're going to rebuild a dynasty, it starts in the trenches, and both these guys look like some. You remember the old term with Chance Warmack that they used to use, war daddies. They both look like that to me, and especially 57 days away from kickoff makes me think of Marcel Darius. You threw that name at us before we got started. And not that Nolan Wilson is like Marcel Darius, but the war daddy mindset of just attacking on the offense and defensive line. I think that, man, what a week it's been recruiting. It's been a nuts week recruiting. And then tomorrow you saw Jaira Edwards announce that he's going to commit at 4:00 Central, 5-star safety. So like it has been a absolutely bonkers week on the recruiting trail. You got three wide receivers, and you're about to hit one on the offense and defensive line, most likely. And then tomorrow, a huge safety comes off the board as well. So Alabama is just really, really rolling. What are they at 6 on 24/7 Sports right now? And you finish the weekend with these three, you're going to be pushing in that top 5, which just makes me laugh and smile for everybody who was talking about, well, maybe DeBoer needs help. Maybe he's not coming together, this, that, and the other. I just think that a little patience in it, it's all going to be okay.
Yeah, I think this class is certainly coming together, and I would not be shocked if, I don't know that anybody at this moment is topping USC with their 31 commits, but Alabama could certainly get its way or find itself into the top 3 with the way this class is looking at this point.
So let's not waste the people's time. I know a lot of people are watching this show so that they can get to Jett Thomalla and hear what he had to say. I have one more just comment before we get to the Jett Thomalla interview. We interviewed him, Mason. We got to remember how old we are now.
Oh, this hurt me.
We interviewed him yesterday, and he was great. It was a really positive interview, absolutely. But we asked him, what quarterbacks did you grow up watching? What quarterbacks did you model your game after? I think it was, what quarterbacks did you model your game after? And he goes, Joe Burrow. And then Mason goes, well, is there anybody else that you grew up watching? And, Mason, 2019 was 6 years ago. If Jett Thomalla is 17, then he was 11 years old during that elite LSU run. So he's been growing up watching, Peyton Manning doesn't apply anymore. Who else? Well, Jay Cutler even doesn't apply anymore. You got Ryan Tannehill doesn't apply anymore. You got to think about any quarterbacks. Matt Ryan doesn't apply anymore for these guys. It is Joe. We're old. It's Pat Mahomes. It's Joe Burrow. It's Josh Allen. Golly.
I mean, that just reminds me, NBA draft again. I think it was Cooper Flagg saying he grew up watching Jason Tatum was his favorite player. It was like Jason Tatum got drafted, I think, when I was in high school or college. It's crazy. Same thing with Joe Burrow, though. Yeah, that is correct. We are old. And as soon as I asked him, I realized, oh wait, he did grow up watching Joe Burrow, but I had to get through the question. And he gave me Tom Brady, I think, just to appease me, give me an answer. But I could tell that he was a little confused by my question.
So let's get right into it. We're going to wrap up our day right here. I'll come back and say goodbye to everyone. But I think Mason's going to go write a bunch of articles to get ready for the day. So let's get right into it. We want to thank Jett Thomalla for his time. We want to thank everybody who's watched us all week long, spending their holiday weekend with us. If you're on the road today, we thank you so much for putting us on, listening to us, and be safe on the road. Get to your families, get to your events in a safe fashion. Don't blow your fingers off with fireworks. Enjoy the firework from a safe distance, and eat as many hot dogs as you can. Let's get right into it with Jett Thomalla. And we're back here on the Joe Gaither Show right here on Bama Central, BamaCentral.com. This interview is brought to you by Derek Daniel State Farm. We encourage you to check out Derek Daniel for all of your insurance needs. Call him today at 205-758-3391. Like a good neighbor, Derek Daniel is there. We're so proud, we're so blessed to be joined by Jett Thomalla, Alabama's newest quarterback committed to the Crimson Tide on June 17th. He went to Elite 11 and impressed out there. We're really looking forward to getting to know another recruit. We've had Rael Kelly, we've had JJ Finch, and now it's time to get to know Jett Thomalla. So with that, Jett, happy 4th of July. Thank you so much for joining us, sir.
Yeah, for sure. No problem.
Absolutely. So, Jett, we'll just get right into it. You flipped your commitment on June 17th from Iowa State to Alabama right off the bat. Nice and big softball for you. Why did you choose the Crimson Tide?
I mean, I just felt the support from the staff. Alabama's such like a big stage, and you got to have a lot of confidence coming into there. And I felt like they had confidence in me. Just going there and thriving. I just got to put my head down and work as hard as I can, and they think that I can be a really good player for them.
Absolutely. I read about our relationship with Nick Sheridan and yourself. So just tell us about Nick Sheridan and what you think about him as a coach and what he's been doing to really convince you to come to Alabama.
Yeah, he's really like a down-to-earth guy. He's a player's coach for sure. I get along with him really well. He's like a funny guy, but he can also be like really serious and get after it. So still building that relationship. But yeah, like I said, he just called me every day pretty much, told me he had confidence in me to co-play at the biggest stage, which is Alabama. He said he really wanted to coach me and work with me and thought I would do really well there. So, I mean, I believe in him, Coach DeBoer, everyone on the staff. So hopefully everything he's saying, I just got to go work as hard as I can and hopefully it will come true.
So what else can you tell me about that relationship? Kind of, how did it start? What was the first communication look like? How long ago did they first contact you? And then from there, how often were they in touch with you?
Yeah. So like the day after I committed, it was kind of weird because like I just committed and he reached out the day after. He said that was just kind of that was how he found me. I mean, they didn't really. He said like it's not fair to them because they didn't find me just because I'm from Nebraska, a smaller place, and not out in like California. Don't have all the exposure. So he followed me on Twitter, whatever, DM'd me, called me, got my phone number, told me he wanted to come watch me throw. So about like 3 days after he followed me, he flew down to Nebraska, watched me throw at some place I work out at. We got dinner after. I mean, I did really well, all that stuff. Had a good talk at dinner. He kind of told me what their timeline with everything was, and then stayed in touch pretty much every day after that. He was going to see other quarterbacks throw because he had to see other guys, just like he saw me. And then kind of just stayed in touch. And then me, Coach Grubb, and Coach Sheridan got on a phone call. Coach Grubb told me I had the offer, so that was really exciting to talk to him. And since then, he was in touch pretty much every day with a FaceTime call or a call. So was Coach DeBoer, texting him here and there, and so was Coach Grubb. So just talking to all those guys, it was really nice to hear from them a bunch. And I feel like him calling me like every day was a big part of why I committed. So
you mentioned, kind of coming from a bit of a smaller school, a little bit of a smaller platform there. Throughout your recruitment, what is it? Have you noticed recently all the attention and everything? Has it been kind of a big surge of attention since Alabama got involved, obviously? And then as well, just what is it, how different is it, do you think, coming from a smaller stage like you are, as opposed to somebody who is coming from a state, that is a little bit more nationally recognized for high school football?
Yeah, I feel like brings more attention for sure. Like all the Nebraska reporter people like reaching out, wanting to come get an interview with me at school and whatnot. Like being at Elite 11, it obviously like brought more to me. If I was Iowa State commit, I probably would have got like a little less maybe screen time with like the reporters. But I try not to focus on that too much. Whether I was still committed there, committed to Alabama, I'm still the same kid, still the same hard worker. So, but yeah, I feel like it's bringing attention. It's a good thing to have attention. Also for like my teammates. And then what did you say at the last question? Last part of it?
Just, kind of, how do you feel that your recruitment has been different than someone who's maybe coming from, like a Texas or a Florida, a school that, or a state where it's a little bit more, has a little bit more attention than, say, Omaha does?
So I had a really good junior season. So I thought maybe an offer would come like during that, but it didn't. Like, coming from like California, a school like that, there's just more exposure out there. Maybe I would have had an offer then. But again, I just try not to focus on that. I knew my offers would come. I just didn't know when. So, I was blessed to get them when I did. I felt like, yeah, it was still a blessing. And then, yeah, I just didn't realize how big the offers would get. Like, I never really realized that I would get an Alabama offer. I knew I had the skill and passion for the game to get it, but just never realized when it would come or if it would come. So, yeah, I was just really blessed to hear that and get the offer. So.
We're hanging out with Jett Thomalla, Alabama's newest quarterback committed in the middle of June. Jett, I'm reading about Millard South, and I'm seeing your year last year, 12-1, almost 4,000 yards passing, 47 touchdowns, and only 3 interceptions. So what can you tell us about the offense that you guys play in and really kind of your mindset in that offense?
Yeah, last year we threw it around a bunch. We had a lot of weapons, really good O-line. So we probably like 60-40 pass run. So, yeah, it was good. We won state, had a really good team, had a really good scheme. We like to get going fast. So a lot of tempo stuff, just wear teams down and then just be the tougher team, quick passes down the field and then take the shot to open that up. Run first and then take the shots. So, it worked out really well last year, just having really good coach. And he actually left. He's going to a school in Arizona this year. So the assistant coach last year will be the head coach. So we'll have the same scheme pretty much. Might run it a little bit more, but still going to have a lot of playmakers. We got like 12 D1 guys on our team. So, yeah, if we execute and do all that, we should be able to repeat the state championship and maybe have one of the best teams coming out of Nebraska for a while. So,
wow, very impressive. So, Jett, why don't you tell us what you like about playing football and specifically what you like about playing quarterback?
yeah, I'm a competitor, so just being out there, being the main guy, having the ball in your hands. It was really the position I grew up playing. So, um, yeah, just being that competitor, the leader, the guy that everyone's going to look up to. It's a lot to wear on your chest, and you're going to be the one that's always looked at for a loss. You're going to be the one everyone's going to come at, but I feel like it's that pressure that just makes me really exceed in those situations. And then, just relationships, having relationships with all these guys, especially on my high school team. Just being at Alabama, I'm going to have to really get into it more just because I won't know any of these guys coming into it as much as I know like these high school guys I'm with right now. But just being in like these relationships where I'm the guy who has to be the leader, I feel like it just helps me thrive and work even harder to be that guy for my teammates.
What's if you had to, really you can pick anything you want, a personality trait, a physical trait, a skill set. What's one thing about whether, a wide receiver? What's your favorite trait, about a wide receiver that you're going to be throwing to?
I know we have a bunch of big, tall guys committed. What I don't have in my high school team really is like a speedster. So just having that guy who can like really just, I don't know, have a big play, like a 60-yard touchdown pass, like a little hitch, and he just takes it to the crib. Just having one of those guys is really nice. But yeah, I have 2 really big targets right now, 2 6'6" tight ends. One's committed to Missouri and one's committed to Fresno State. So also just having those guys who can go up and get it, that's really nice too. So I get along with any receiver really. So route runner, speedster, jump ball guy. I like all of them. So I wouldn't say I'll have really one type of preference.
You said you've been growing up playing quarterback. Who are some of the quarterbacks that you look up to or like to model your game after?
My favorite quarterback right now is Joe Burrow. So I'd probably say him. Just the way he's always like calm, collective, has really cool demeanor, cool guy. So I like to look up to him. He's not too like outgoing, kind of like me. But he's just a really good quarterback, has really good fundamentals, throwing motion, feet, all that. So yeah, that's the guy I look up to most.
Is there, obviously Joe Burrow is a bit more of a recent quarterback. Was there anybody, well, I guess, Is there anyone else maybe outside of that you watched growing up that you kind of modeled your game after? And then also anybody like Alabama specific that you kind of have ever, watched, or anybody Alabama that was your favorite player growing up, if you even watched Alabama growing up?
So I watched Nebraska growing up just because being from
Makes sense.
Nebraska, yeah, you're going to be a Nebraska fan usually. So my dad always had Nebraska games on. I mean, growing up, maybe Tom Brady, but there wasn't too many like great Nebraska quarterbacks growing up that could really sling it. So yeah, probably just Tom Brady. Just growing up watching the good NFL players. But no, Alabama, I never really watched them. Never really had like a dream school, but now it's really a dream to be committed to Alabama, and really excited about being able to go there. So.
We're talking to Jett Thomalla, Alabama's newest quarterback commit in the class of 2026. So, Jett, you've kind of outlined a little bit of your recruitment. Let's talk about the fall. Have you been to Bryant-Denny Stadium yet? And do you plan on making a couple trips or a trip this season? What's your thoughts on playing in such a big, prestigious stadium?
Oh yeah, so I was on an unofficial about 4 weeks ago. There were some guys on their official. So it was about like a week after I got the offer. They wanted to get me down twice. So I went on an unofficial first. And then yeah, I talked to all the guys on the official. I don't know who was committed, but there was a lot of big names there. Booby Feaster, Jet Washington, some guys that probably won't be going to Alabama. But it was good to hang around those guys. So yeah, I've been to Bryant-Day Stadium. It was good to be there. It's a really special stadium. Obviously the biggest one I've ever been in. So just seeing that, I mean, just gets you excited about football. Just like imagining playing there. So yeah. And then what'd you say at the end there?
If you have plans to make it to a game.
Oh yeah, yes sir. I think I'm gonna go OV during the Tennessee game. So that's the one that like works out good for me. I have a Thursday game that week, so it's like the perfect game to go to. Just Alabama Tennessee rivalry. Just being able to go there, it's gonna be a lot of fun. And
Well,
then
no, go ahead. Sorry.
they said they might want to get me down one more time before that, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. So.
You know anything about the Alabama Tennessee rivalry?
A little bit, yeah. I know it's pretty crazy. I always see
it's a good
the
one.
I always see the comments like at Tennessee fans, you're still gonna lose to Tennessee after we're getting all these big commits. So I mean, yeah, it's gonna be fun to see that. So
We're hanging out with Jett Thomalla. Jett, what can you tell us about Courtney Morgan? He's kind of the man behind the scenes on
yeah.
all of this. What's your relationship like, and kind of how has that developed?
Yeah, I mean, obviously he's a really good GM, and getting all these 5-star commits means he can recruit really well. But haven't talked to him too much, just being down there once. Talked to him for a little bit. I think it's been more of my dad talking to him. So, but you know, he's a really cool guy. He was funny the one time I talked to him. Made a bunch of jokes. So, I mean, just like a player's guy again. So, just probably a guy you can go have a conversation with, laugh it up a little bit. So, he's a cool guy for sure.
You mentioned your dad right there talking to Courtney Morgan. How involved has your dad been throughout your recruitment? Has that been kind of obviously for a lot of people, I'm sure it's a big help, but just how involved has he been helping you get around to these schools, communicate with everyone?
Yeah. I mean, he's been a coach growing up. He played college football, NAIA level. So, I mean, he knows how it works. He's kind of been the guy who's done everything for me, like hiring agents, talking to coaches. You know, he's the one who always has the conversation because he knows all about it. So he's the guy who's also taught me how to work out, all that stuff, eat right. So yeah, he's been a really big part in my recruiting process, and I owe a lot to him. Just from where I'm at right now. So.
Jett, y'all went 12-1 last year, and you mentioned you won the state championship. What's the number one way that you like to celebrate a victory?
We go to Brewski's. It's like a little bar after every game we win, a home game at least. But that's fun. Just hanging out with the guys after a win. You know, our only loss was to Basha in Arizona. They're a really good team. So after the state championship, you know, that's celebration. So we hung out till like maybe 3 in the morning. But it was really just hanging out with all the guys, just celebrating. Nothing too crazy, but really just chilling with the teammates. Yeah, I don't like to do nothing too crazy, but
What's the meal at Brewski's that you're having? Different every time, or do you have a set victory meal?
so they kind of just make stuff and just hand it out. So it's either like burgers, wings, chicken strips, but usually the chicken nuggets are the best. Yeah, that's what I'd say.
Obviously 12-1 was a near perfect season, but is there anything
Yeah.
specific that you're looking to build on this year with your team? Maybe looking aiming for that undefeated season.
Yeah, I mean, we got the players to do it. We just got to execute. Just got to stay grinded. We won state last year, so I feel like we're working even harder right now to repeat that. It's harder. It's hard to do it twice, 2 times in a row. So I mean, we play at Arborview in Las Vegas, our first game, so that will be a challenge. Just going there, the heat, all that stuff. But yeah, I mean, if we execute, we got the players to do it. So yeah, I mean, just stay grinded, work hard every day, and I think we'll be able to have that undefeated season.
What has Nick Sheridan said about your game, really, as he assesses your game, and what do you want to do specifically in your senior year to improve? Do you have an element that you want to improve on in your game?
Just being able to push the ball downfield. I have a really strong arm from when he's watched me. So just being accurate down the field and really anywhere. He says I have a natural pocket movement when D-line men are rushing up to me, just being able to evade the rush in that way. So that kind of comes natural to me, being like a basketball player, just being able to have quicker feet. And then thing I'd improve on, probably just not even something on the field. It would be like film studies, just knowing coverage better, knowing what teams are going to be doing, just knowing the defensive scheme, really. And then, yeah, I'd say that. Um, Maybe becoming a little bit more vocal, going to Alabama, just guys that I need to get around first and know what they're like. So just being myself around them and being more vocal. I'm kind of a more quiet, humble kid. So just being more outgoing there, that'll be good for me.
You had the chance recently at the Elite 11 to seemingly kind of be dropped in a situation where you are maybe forced to be a bit more vocal, forced to come out of
Yeah.
your shell a little bit. What was that? What was that what was that event like? Just did you enjoy your time there? What all did you learn there? Do you
Yeah.
think it kind of helped you prepare for getting ready to come to Alabama?
Yeah, so I committed like the morning before that. So I was pretty stressed leading up to that. So it was good to get around some guys that were my age and that I could talk to about, the recruiting process. They've been through the same stuff I have. So just all that, just getting to know those guys, some guys I might play down the road. And I have good relationships with all of them now. So it's pretty cool in that way. All the good coaches there too taught me a bunch. Footwork, throwing motion, all that. There was a mental health coach there, taught us like meditating, how to be confident in yourself, even after like a bad play, all that stuff. So, I mean, it was good to be there. Good competition. I mean, just being around those guys, it was a lot. It was really good just to have like a little break from everything. I wasn't on my phone too much, wasn't reading like comments or stuff. I don't usually do that anyway, but just being around those guys, it was a lot of fun.
Just a few more here with Jett Thomalla, Alabama's newest quarterback commit. Jett, I'm a big ritual guy. Do you have any pregame rituals that you have to go through before you go play really well?
I really don't, to be honest. Kind of just go with the flow. Usually, someone's playing music in the locker room, so just vibe to that. Maybe chill out, just like lay down, maybe close my eyes a little bit before a game. Just kind of imagine what's going to go on in the next half hour. So just imagining everything is good. Just to imagine the really good plays and also the really bad plays and how I'm going to bounce back from that. So I'm just putting my headphones on, getting locked in. It's a good way to just get ready for a game.
If you weren't playing quarterback, or if you really, bigger question, if you weren't playing football, what would you be doing?
I'm a decent basketball player. So, I mean, I probably play basketball. if I wasn't like a good football player. And then maybe even be a coach. That might be something I'll go into after football's over, is being a coach. So that'd be a lot of fun for me too. But yeah, I'd say basketball player or coach.
You think playing basketball kind of helps your game at all, but as a quarterback?
Yeah, for sure. I feel like I was kind of a quarterback on the basketball court too. I'd always get the ball out of bounds and just chuck it down the floor. I probably had like 20 plus assists off that. So just having the same vision, I feel like basketball has helped me with football, and football has helped me with basketball. Just having that vision to read defenders and pass the ball. I feel like I was a distributor in basketball too. I wasn't like the main scorer guy. So, I mean, yeah, and I feel like also showing my athleticism on the basketball court helped me get some offers. Those dunks I had was a big part of me getting offers, I feel like. So it was good to play basketball for sure.
Yeah, I saw those highlights, the slam dunks. I could
Yeah.
only get up to about touching the net myself. So your athleticism is much better.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah. I won't play basketball next year, though. I'll graduate early, so got to give it up now. But yeah, I had a lot of fun playing. So
Last thing that I have for you, Jett, is really in the current college football world is NIL is a big thing. It's obviously not the forefront of your thoughts, but let's say you could really direct your path in the NIL sphere. Is there any company, industry, or path that you'd love to take with NIL? We had JJ Finch said Battle Sports. I guess that's a big sports apparel company. Do you have any NIL daydreams that you'd like to see happen?
Battle was made in Nebraska, so I mean that would be cool if you guys didn't know that. But I know the guy pretty well, decently well actually. But yeah, that'd be a cool one to have. I either say like Nike, just the bigger ones. Hopefully once I get big, having those ones would be really cool. But yeah, Battle would be like a cool one to have, like smaller, just because I have that connection already. So if you would reach out for sure, I would really be best to have any type of NIL deal. So
Mason, anything else for the new quarterback?
One more question just before we get out of here. If you could just kind of sum up your game in one word, one phrase, one statement, how would you label yourself as a quarterback?
I'd say patient. Kind of look at me in the pocket. I'm not too like antsy. I like to stick in there, really figure out what's going on, and then make my decision. Patient with my decision too. I only had 3 interceptions, so I'm not gonna go stare one guy down. I'm gonna go through my whole progression. So I'd say that's probably the best word for me.
Well, Jett, I really appreciate your time. It's a big weekend right around here for 4th of July. Do you have any plans, and do you want to leave the Alabama fan base with any messages as we get out of here?
I'm going to my dad's hometown. It's like 3 hours away, pretty small town, but my grandma has a lake there. So I'm gonna go down there with some cousins. That'll be fun. Tomorrow I'm gonna leave. So one word. I'm excited to be an Alabama football player. Something I've dreamed about my whole life is to play college football, and I'm going to be doing it at the biggest stage. So I'm really excited to do that, and I'm going to pour myself into it. So it's going to be a lot of fun, and hopefully I can be a big time player for Alabama one day.
Jett, thanks so much for your time, man. We really appreciate it. We're looking forward to your senior year.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you, guys.
Absolutely.